in the middle, really. Photojournalist Jordan Gazzardo and myself in the middle of what was a very tense situation in Ferguson. It was a struggle, quite frankly, a struggle between protesters who were really trying to take a stand against police, take a stand against what they believe is injustice in this city. But then we also saw other people simply come into this situation to cause trouble. We saw stores being looted. We saw heard shots fired. We saw a flare at one point fired in our direction toward police. It's been a tense situation for several hours here in the streets of Ferguson. We watched as police initially kept a very, what's the word I'm looking for, trying to take a very peaceful approach, not very confrontational, rather just standing in the streets, but clearly ready, armed with their riot gear, but not really taking any actions. We watched as some protesters took to the streets and really got in some of the faces of police officers. Even saw one police officer who clearly crossed the line cursing at protesters. But then initially, rather later, I should say, police started to push people back, slowly and methodically pushing people back. At last check, they have taken back control over many of the areas where these protesters, quite frankly, the protest got out of control. But again, we saw looting. We heard shots fired. We're still trying to touch base with police to get an account of exactly what happened, whether anyone was injured. And there were fires. There were fires in the streets. Some businesses set to fire. It has certainly been a chaotic situation. As, again, some people trying to take a stand against what they believe to be injustice, and some people simply coming here to cause trouble.
Across the city, a night of pure chaos.
This is your warning. Leave the area. Disperse.
People pushing the limit with police.
None of y'all be man enough to stand up to one black man.
Racial tensions and nerves on edge. Even an officer we caught on camera gave in to his rage, calling protesters animals. Listen.
Bring it. Bring it.
Many here are angry about what witnesses say was an unprovoked attack on an unarmed teenager. Michael Brown, shot and killed Saturday by a Ferguson police officer. We watched as a struggle played out Sunday night. Some protesters who took to the streets trying to keep the peace while taking a stand against police.
This is really a peace march. It's nothing to start to hurt a police officer. This is all about peace.
It's not a peace march anymore. I mean, you hear what's happening. You see these confrontations between people and police officers.
Yes, and it done got outrageous.
Others who simply came to cause trouble.
All right, police are still stationary right now, but I want to show you what's happening over at that JC Wireless. People broke through the glass, and right now you can see people running in and out, apparently looting that store.
Cell phone video captures the frenzy of stores being looted. Some people threw rocks and bottles. The sound of gunshots rang out several times Sunday night. We had to take cover. All of this started as a peaceful march Sunday for Michael Brown's family.
You took my son away from me. You know how hard it was for me to get him to stay in school and graduate? You know how many black men graduate? Not many. Because you bring them down to this type of level where they feel like I don't got nothing to live for anyway. They're going to try to take me out anyway.
The victim's friend says they were walking together when Brown was stopped by a police officer. Witnesses say the teen had his hands in the air at the time he was shot and killed. But police tell a different story, that Brown instigated the altercation, physically assaulting the officer while in his car and struggling to take his gun. The unanswered questions sparked people to take action.
We out here, we hold it down for the community, Caucasian, African American, Asian, everyone. It doesn't matter what color you are. People. Get out here and support your people.
Police made several arrests, several hours of insanity, for the moment distracting from the greater call for justice.
What is up, Leakas? It's your boy Philko here eating some Pringles, reporting live from Eyewitnesses, Cyprus. Still doing my vacation thing. And people, once again, we're protesting We're screaming. We're angry. We refuse to be targets. That's one of the signs, mentioned something about being a target. We're tired of being killed by these officers and all that stuff. You know, it's time for us to come together and stand up against it, right? Okay. We're tired of being treated like second-class citizens, you know. We should stand together whenever this happens to let people know that we're not going to take it anymore, all that stuff, you know. We're basically banding together. Now, there were some people looting, there was some. And I guarantee you, it wasn't much looting going on. If there was more, they would have definitely showed more than what they showed in the news. One thing I tell you about the news, they like to exaggerate. So basically, what they show you in the looting is basically the best they have. If they had more, they would love to show it to you to make it seem like it was much more going on, you know? That's the best they have. Like, for example, when the news goes somewhere, they want to talk about how bad a neighborhood is. And they want to show you a few streets, they will always show you the worst streets they can find. They're not going to show you semi kind of bad streets. No, it's not a great story. They want to show you the worst streets. That's the worst looting they found. Now, not making an excuse for the looters, no excuses for the looters, but it really seemed like the vast majority of the people out there weren't there to loot at all. They were there to protest. Now, here's where I come in with my opinion on this, and I've said this so many times. It doesn't matter who's hurting your people. What matters is that your people is being hurt. If this kid were killed for no reason by a black person, just some guy who wanted to rob him, just killed him for his hat and ran off, this would not happen. How do I know this would not happen? Well, because those kind of murders happen all the time and this never happens. Now, I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong. I'm not even complaining about what they're doing. They want to protest about an unarmed teen who got killed. Fine, go ahead, protest. But I cannot protest with these people because they are extremely fucking selfish. Most of these people protesting are extremely selfish. When somebody from their race does this to another race or to our own race, they have nothing much to say. Nothing much to say. It's not a big deal. Oh, he killed him. What? Was he black? Was he a police officer? No? Oh, okay, well, no reason to protest. Just stop the violence. Just stop the violence. You won't see me standing out there. You'll never see me standing next to Al Sharpton. Maybe Jesse Jackson. Maybe Message Jesse. But you'll never see me standing next to Al Sharpton complaining about how they're trying to keep us down and all this stuff. It's us keeping us down. Let me give you a little brainstorm. Because you know, a lot of black people can't look at things outside of themselves. Like they can't look at things from the other side. So I'm going to give it to you this way. Let's say there were green people. Let's just say there were green people. Let's say Mexicans. Let's say Mexicans, right? Let's say Mexicans, right? They really just started coming into America, and they could only afford to live in the black neighborhoods, right? So there's Mexicans moving into all the black neighborhoods, you know, whatever. We get along, whatever, it ain't beef or nothing. These Mexicans are known to be way more violent than the blacks. But they're usually violent to themselves. You know, they got these Mexican gangs. You walk past, you see Mexicans fighting, see Mexicans shooting each other. Like, these Mexicans fucking crazy. What the fuck's wrong with them? You know, the Mexicans usually just do these things to themselves. But once in a while, a black person would end up hurting one of these Mexican people or killing one of these Mexican people. And these Mexican people come out through the black neighborhoods, complain, saying, keep your hands off our people, blah, 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 blah. How would most black people react to that situation? Oh, shut the fuck up. Y'all niggas run around, kill each other all day. Get the fuck out of here. He was probably defending himself. Y'all niggas is violent. We see you being violent all the time. Your culture's violent. All you ever do is violent shit. We just trying to live in peace. Y'all come over here fighting all this shit. We don't want none of that. Blah, 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 blah. Tell me that wouldn't happen. What I'm saying here is, us black people, we have a violent culture. We celebrate violence through the music we listen to, and it's normal to us. Strange. Very normal to us. We're so used to us killing each other that we don't complain about it anymore. It's just what it is. No one gives a shit. But when a white person kills a black person, it's a big deal. But when a black person kills a black person, it doesn't matter. We don't get outraged like we should be when we do things to ourselves. That's the biggest problem. And here, all these people out there screaming, raging, I wish they had that rage whenever there was a black on black crime, murder in general. That's basically what I'm saying here. So I've made so many of these videos, I don't even know what to say anymore. I've made my point. We're not getting anywhere. This isn't going to get you anywhere. Everyone wants to complain about the cops and the cops this, the cops that. The amount of deaths caused by police officers to black people compared to black people on black people will never be even close to comparison. Now, once again, I'm not saying they shouldn't complain about this. We don't know what happened. You know how I always say, cameras on fucking cops so we can stop having... Why the fuck don't cops have cameras yet? What's going on with this federal law? What's going on? Cameras on cops... I guess police like this shit. Police, the government, they must like this shit. They must like the, this didn't happen, that happened. They like arguing instead of just putting a fucking camera on the police. That would end all of this. What the fuck are they waiting for? Make it a federal law. What the fuck are they waiting for? If there was a camera on this cop, this would not be happening. If what the cop says is true. If the cop lied, this would be happening because we'd have pure evidence of it. And there would be a reason to complain. But there's no cameras on these cops. It's stupid. Take the cameras out of the cars, put them on the cops. When the cop gets back in the car, he put the shit on the car. When he gets out the car, puts his camera on, goes out and does his thing. I don't see the big deal. It's very fucking important. Cameras on cops. Please. Let's do it. Countrywide. Let's fucking do it. And that's really all I gotta say, people. I mean, I just want you to realize. We're part of a culture, our popular culture that we're known for worldwide as black Americans is a violent one. Our music celebrates violence, drugs, and there's a difference between movies and music, nigga. So when you speak to these musicians, these rappers, they're like, that's what we're about. I'm real, that's really me. When an actor plays a bad guy, when the movie's done, it's like, oh no, that's just a role. That's not really me. But that's not how rappers talk. That's really me. That's what I do. This is where I grew up, blah, blah, blah. All right? There's a humongous difference. So don't give me that bullshit. And world star hip-hop will prove it all in a second. And that's really all I gotta say, man. I mean, complain every time a cop kills a black person. You complain all you want, but it's not gonna get us anywhere. We just look stupid. We look like animals. If we can't respect ourselves, why do we expect other people to respect us? We don't even respect ourselves. And I'm out. Later.